if you're an absolute newbie to print on demand, this is the video for you. Because newbie. My name's Chan. I've been immersed in developing one product, only one, using print on demand at lulu.com. They're really good. So I'm gonna walk you through what I've spent the last 3 months doing and why I think that if you're going to do print on demand like your very first time, you are better off selling through Lulu's Bookstore and Amazon KDP. But we'll look into the difference between those two. There are loads of videos out there already. I recommend you go watch them all because they're really detailed and from people of varying experience. I've just been immersed in this for the last 3 months, so one of the more recent ones probably. Here's my stack, and then they're also on the walls but behind me. This is not a tutorial video, by the way. Just let me tell you that first. If you want a tutorial video, there are people who do really good jobs. I'm not one of them. But yes, so the first thing is obviously you need to design your files and then upload them. It takes a while to do that. I recommend putting some good time. Like I've been like chewing on this idea for this journal for over a year now, and it was only because I had this downtime that I decided to just immerse myself in it like full time, like 15 hours a day, kind of full time. So my timelines are not exactly normal. So I spent like 11 days making the first draft from nothing, from absolute nothing. Like I had some Excel spreadsheets of different ideas and the structures that I wanted to use, but yeah, in terms of going from like 0 to actually having a PDF, that was 11 days. It was quite intense. I don't recommend it. Like, yeah, I don't recommend working that way. I mean, like, some people recommend it, like immerse yourself in it, because then you know pretty quick whether or not this thing's gonna work or if it's really something that you want to keep working on. Yeah, so different opinions really. Like I personally really enjoyed it. So you know, for me it was a learning experience. I decided that this chunk of time was going to be really where I immersed myself in some new learning, because I've basically, about myself, I've been a teacher teaching English in China for like over a decade, and if anyone who's been in the same job for a long time, like, you know that feeling, right, where it's you're kind of on autopilot, and it's not to say you're slacking or anything, but it's just you've been doing it so long, you know, there's parts of your brain that you're just not really using. So yeah, I'm kind of on a sabbatical right now. So this is part of my learning part one. So yeah, I decided, okay, I'm going to try and create something to sell, and then look into everything around it and see what I can learn, because it's so different from what I've been doing. You know, they're just like stuck in a rut. So yeah, hence 3 months intensive of working on this bad boy. So what I would recommend, if you are going to do any kind of product design, test all the formats that they have. So let me just walk you through what I did. I started off, mistake number one, once I finished my first draft, which was, you know, you're gonna change it quite a few times, right? I printed out the entire set, so I have like 6 different photos on the covers of my journals, and each photo comes from like a story or a part of my journey that I've been on. And yeah, so I printed out the whole set, hardcover, which is like the more expensive binding, right, with Lulu. Only later to find that, oh gosh, you know what I should have done? I should have printed out one, because then it's the same mistake in all of them, really. So yeah, don't print out everything straight away. Don't be too enthusiastic or hopeful, wishful thinking, like me. So yeah, mistake number one, don't burn your money. It's nice to have though. The only thing is with these ones, like the print was a bit too light. So I use a lot of kind of like light grey colours, and they just didn't come out that well. And also with the with Lulu print, so mine's black and white. You can have the standard and you can have the premium. I would recommend paying that bit more or cut into your profit margin and just go for the premium, because that seems to be more stable. So like in these, there's a couple where the paper is actually white, and then there's a couple in the same print job where there's like little specks of like grey across like the whole white paper, which I found really weird. So yeah, I would recommend just paying that bit more, get the premium printing. I don't know, it's like an extra £1 or less, I think. I mean UK. But yeah, that's what I'd recommend. So what I did after printing the whole set in matte finish, I went for a matte finish and a glossy. You see? So the matte finish is really nice. It feels really nice. The only thing I noticed is that any scuffs or anything, it shows up like really, really quickly. So I think for a journal, you kind of want something that's slightly more durable. I think this one's like easier to like wipe and clean, and it just feels more durable, you know. This one, it's, you know, it starts to look like little scratches and stuff on it pretty easily. So yeah, so I decided, okay, I'll go for glossy. Also they have like, I didn't go for the coated paper because I think the coated paper might be difficult to write on. In hindsight, I probably should have just gone for the coated paper just to see as well. But yeah, so they have white. So the uncoated paper, there's like cream. I know you can see, right? You can kind of tell. There's cream and then there's white. I found that the cream, there's a lot more bleed. You can see all the colours underneath of the other pages. And the white paper, not so much. So I went for white paper. And then the next proof order, I thought, you know what, I might as well try all the different binding. So I got coil. This is like their coil. It's pretty good actually. Yeah, this one is the white paper, I think. Can't really tell. But yeah, so I've got coil. And then I just got the Perfect Bound, the paperback as well, which is pretty good. So, oh, got my notes in there, is it? Yeah, so I did a few different orders. So this one, I was just testing the same image quality across the different formats. Again, looking at like glossy and matte, glossy. This one's matte, this one's glossy. You see? So that's kind of like what, let's see what it looks like. Yeah. I think it looks a bit more vibrant actually, but yeah, it depends on what you prefer. And then, yeah, so that's what I would say to anyone who's thinking about doing print on demand with Lulu is, even if you think you know that, okay, I want it this particular format, it's worth just testing them all really and then just see what it looks like. Do give yourself some time because I'm in London and it's around about a week from like when you order it to when it actually arrives. So yeah, so like every time you then do an edit, it's going to be an extra, it's going to be a week before you get the edit, right? So I think all in all it took me about just over a month, and then I kept fiddling about with it and adding little bits. I finally got my final draft, which I ordered just before Christmas. And why is my final draft? So I made a weekly planners. This one's Edinburgh cover. And yeah, so I'll just show you an example. It's got a journaling system. So on one side it's a weekly planner. I don't know if you can really tell that. It's got a weekly planner. And then on the other side is a guided journal page with prompts. and I created a system. So basically it's like every quarter you have a different focus. And yeah, so I was getting all excited thinking that, yeah, I'm going to use one of my journals. And then I go to use it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, this is missing months, right? And I know this is a weekly planner and it's weeks, but I need months. I need month view. So I added it. I added it like Monday or something. So yeah, I'll be getting that this week. No, tomorrow, next week, this coming week. Yeah, I'll be getting it soon, and I can actually start using it. So even though I have like a website and everything to sell this and develop this brand and develop this journal system, I really made it for me. So yeah, I have to be able to use it. I don't know how many people creating journals actually make stuff for themselves to use, but I'm making this for me to use, guys, like for real. So for myself, I prefer the coil bound one because I like to do that, you know, like, yeah. So for myself, I prefer the coil bound. The coil bound one you can only get from Lulu. So basically the entire set, like all 6 photos, all 3 formats, you can get them from Lulu. They have the entire set, and that's premium printed. I do have a 6x9 version on Amazon, which has the Hong Kong cover. This is Hong Kong, an island in Hong Kong. And then at the back there's a quote and then a little bit of like backstory. And yeah, so that one is in hardcover and paperback from Amazon. So you can kind of pick, like I think the print quality is better on Lulu, but if you prefer to use Amazon, there is one version available on Amazon. So that one I'm doing with Amazon KDP. Yeah, so in terms of the selling, if you are like completely starting out brand new in this thing, and unless you're churning out lots and lots of product, I only have one. It killed me just to make this one, dude. I ain't making more. I actually opened an Amazon professional seller account. So when I started doing this, I figured, you know what, let me try to do it properly and then see what it's like. If it's too stressful, I'll just, you know, I'll just sell through Lulu Bookstore and Amazon KDP. But let me try first. So the first thing I did is I set up lulu.com. So if you're going to try this the full way, this is how you would do it other than doing Lulu Bookstore. So Lulu, you have 3 options to sell. One is Lulu Direct, in which it would link to your own website or wherever you want to sell it. So you're responsible for the order. You fulfill the order. And there's Lulu Bookstore, where they deal with the customer, not you. And that's on their bookstore. And then they have a global distribution as well, but you have to pay for that. You need an ISBN. But they then distribute to, like, say, Amazon and like bricks and mortars, like the actual like proper bookstores as well, and other online bookstores too. I didn't do that because I didn't feel that I have enough reputation. I haven't got any reviews, so I couldn't really justify that cost. But maybe later I might. But yeah, so if you are selling through their bookstore, you literally only have one picture, and it's the picture that they create from their mock-up. So their mock-up, even for the coil background, even for the coil binding, it will show a picture like just like that. It's just like a square picture, you know, with a slight mock-up of a book. So you don't get as many pictures like on Amazon. So after I set up Lulu and I uploaded my books, I set up Shopify. So Shopify create your website, like it's a shop, right? So you can sell on your website. And I also bought a domain. So then I set that up, did a test purchase, and things were fine. I was like, okay, then let me try setting up Amazon. So Amazon, you can set up it's like an individual account or the professional seller account. So professional seller, you pay £30. That's including the tax, but you pay £30 a month, and that gives you like all the functions. That lets you do variations, so you can put more pictures and and like if you are trying to create your own brand, if you have a trademark, then you can enroll on their brand something, which lets you then do like the A+ content, you know, like when you scroll down and then there's like really nice pictures and descriptions and things, right? That's the A+ content. I don't have that, so I wasn't able to do that. But I was able to do the variations. If you are thinking of doing print on demand for Amazon, it's okay, but bear in mind the fees and your profit margin. So I know how much you're going to charge, but the fees are quite high, and I found that my profit margin, even if I charge more on Amazon and less on my website, I would make more money on my own website, which is kind of nuts, really. I think Amazon, people like buying from Amazon because they know it. They probably already have their bank details there already, so it's convenient. But yeah, in terms of the how much you need to sell, like if you're selling quite a lot, it's worth doing to have like a professional seller account. But if you're just starting out, I don't recommend it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're just starting out with your own books, or whether it's like journal or like, you know, like high content books, you're probably better off just doing like Amazon KDP and then building up your reviews, and then later if you actually have actually I don't think it's worth it even then. So the reason why I did Amazon professional like seller for these is because I wanted to see what it was like to do the variations, right? Because I've got 3 formats, 6 different covers, it's different. So I wanted to go through the learning process. If you want to do that, I highly recommend it. Yeah, because you're gonna make some new connections in the brain for sure. But if you just want it just kind of like practical, and I recommend just like sell directly through Lulu Bookstore and Amazon KDP, and then link it like to your website. So you use your website as the main marketing to, you know, give more details about your product, about your brand, about your story, so that people can look at that and then click on the link. So that's what I've done for my website. I'm updating my website now. But yeah, so I don't actually deal with any of the sales. I don't want to deal with sales. Yeah. So yeah, so I went through the whole system just to see what it's like, because I was thinking, oh, well, if the apps, in my mind, because I've been in a bubble forever, right? In my mind, I was like, oh, so this app's going to talk to that app, and then when someone buys stuff, they're just going to talk to each other, and they're just going to make things happen. I don't need to do anything. Yeah, no. The only way that works is if they have the responsibility over the actual relationship with the customer. Hence, Lulu Bookstore, Amazon KDP, because the relationship with the customer is theirs. If the relationship with the customer is yours, you are then responsible for things like refunds, returns, and if there's any quality issues. I don't want to deal with that. So, but that said, if you are like doing this and you're like setting up like a proper company and you're hoping to grow it into a proper company, proper brand, then it's worth doing. It's definitely worth doing. For me, if I do it, it's definitely not going to be this year. It might be next year, next year, because this year I'm busy. So yeah, well, the coming year I'm busy. I'm actually up. So why I'm kind of on sabbatical is because I was offered a place on like a practices research program, but they didn't have scholarships. However, they have scholarships next year, so I'm applying for scholarships for the same uni and all the other unis that have the scholarships, to be honest, for next year. So between now and next summer, I'm kind of like self-directed sabbatical right now, to learn stuff. I figured I need to learn stuff. I need to level up so many different ways. I gotta level up. So yeah. Another thing I tried, which I totally do not recommend, if you are doing any kind of print on demand product, do not sell on TikTok Shop. So I set up TikTok Shop, which was one of the reasons why I got Shopify, actually, because it was a case that you need to have Shopify to manage your inventory, and that Shopify, they have an app which connects to TikTok Shop, so they'll talk to each other. Why I say don't use TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop is good for exposure. However, they do need you to start shipping things within 2 days. If you don't start shipping things within 2 days, then you're going to have to like send out emails, and then if you're shipping and you don't have a proper, it's not tracked. So forget using Royal Mail, second class, whatever class, that's not tracked. If there isn't a proper tracking number that they can enter, then even if you receive, because I did a test purchase, right? Even if you receive your item, they can't update it in the system, because I was talking to customer service about this. They can't update it in the system. And then after a certain amount of time, it will get automatic cancellation. So 2 things. If you're going to sell on TikTok Shop, make sure you use tracking. Any delivery must have tracking. And number 2, you need to be able to ship your things, or at least start to ship your things within 2 days, 2 or 3 days. So print on demand is not great, because it takes 3 to 5 business days before they can ship, right? Because it's print on demand. They got to print. They got to print. So yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, it's really cool if you do other stuff. If you sell other stuff on TikTok, you know, it's cool. And you know, if you're going to put the time into making the content, yeah, it's, you know, it's good. But for me, I just found it was too much effort and too much fuss. You know, imagine if there's that much fuss every time I got a purchase. You know, and while I'm also trying to do a PhD as well, no. So yeah, so basically where I'm at now, as I speak to you, so I went through that whole cycle of, okay, let me see what it's like to like sell from my own website. Okay, that works. To sell with Shopify. Okay, that works. To then sell on Amazon. Okay, that works. To then sell on TikTok Shop. That didn't work. And then, you know, I created a report of all of this and crunched some numbers, and I think I just realized that, okay, you know what, the best way is Lulu Bookstore and Amazon KDP. So I closed my Amazon professional seller account. I still have my individual seller, so I could sell stuff. I don't know what yet. If I find the right thing, maybe. But yeah, so I've closed the Amazon professional seller account, and I've closed the TikTok Shop. No, you know what? TikTok Shop, right? Dude, TikTok Shop, you cannot cancel, you can't close your account until 90 days after your last order or cancellation. So that's like 3 months, isn't it? 90 days, which is interesting. So anywho, what I've done is I've just removed all of my products out from my shop on TikTok Shop, so nobody can buy anything, because it's too much effort. It's not that it's too much effort, but it's like, it's a lot of drama around it, you know. And the apps still need you to verify things and to check things, so it's not as integrated as maybe I thought it was going to be. Like, I literally thought, like, these apps are great, they'll talk to each other, there's AI, everything, they'll figure it out. I don't need to do anything. No. Yeah, so if you're going to do print on demand, Lulu is very good. They sell, where do they sell? US, UK, Europe, Canada, Australia. Yeah. So, the only thing is that you also then need to do marketing, which is what my next focus is going to be. Is like, okay, how do I then market this thing that I've created? Start building awareness of it. But yes, you could do it that way. It's easier for logistics. And if you build up your own following, your own brand elsewhere, then you can just direct people to buy directly from Lulu. Yeah, that's really what I recommend. It's way easier. If you're thinking about doing this, figure out your numbers. Crunch the numbers. How much can you spend on setting things up? Yeah, you can do it free. With KDP, with Amazon KDP, and with Lulu. It's free. When they order, when the customer orders through the bookstore, if you are doing a direct sale, like say they order from your bookshop or your website, and when an order goes through, you then need to pay Lulu the printing cost before they print. Otherwise, they're not going to print, right? It makes sense. So if you don't want to have to deal with that either, just sell through their bookstore, because then when people order through their bookstore, it's their customer's relationship, so they have the money directly from the customer, and then they'll take out the printing costs and everything from that. And again, you don't do anything, you just kind of wait around for the payout. The payout takes, I can't remember how long it takes, like I think the first payout took around about a month. I think the longer you do it and the more you have things sell, I think the payout period gets shorter. At least it did on Shopify. So on Shopify, it was maybe like 10, 11 working days first. And then after some weeks, it became 3 working days. So that's something to think about, is your cash flow. If you're really going to get into this, you do need like cash flow. It's not like print on demand is no cash flow. You definitely need some money. Even things like your website, your domain name, your email hosting, all of those little things you're going to want to think about. And then of course, your proof copies. You are going to want to spend some time, put at least a month of refining your design, because you're going to have your first draft and you think, okay, that's it. And then you're going to order it. And then when your print comes back, you're going to be like, oh wait, hold on a minute. So yeah, you're going to be making some changes, and just factor in at least a month, maybe even 2. Like if you're going to do this part-time to test it, then give yourself 2 to 3 months to really hone in and refine your product. It's taken me about 3 months really. If you are looking to do this, just start for real. Like, say if you're like me and you just in your full-time job for a long time and you want to try something just to get some new brain cells going, it's start small. You can start really small. So for example, I also did Printify as well. I made I made notebooks. So I really wanted to learn, innit? So yeah, if you go on Printify is more like note paper, like plain line paper and stuff, right? But that's a really easy way to begin, because you only got to design the cover. It's so user-friendly. It's so crazy user-friendly. Even if you're not doing it to sell, even if you're just doing it to make gifts for people, it's really, really nice. Like, they have so many different things that you can create with Printify. And as well, you can create like a pop-up store as well. So the pop-up store, they give you a link, and then you just forward that to whoever, and then people can buy from your pop-up store online. Yeah, it's really easy, and especially with things like Canva. Like, I never used Canva before this. No, like I used to use Photoshop and stuff, but then that was a long time ago. So to create this, I use Illustrator, because it's a lot of lines, mostly lines and text, right? And then, did I use Canva? Oh, I use Canva for marketing. Yeah, that's what. So I'm still learning Canva so I can figure out my marketing stuff. But yeah, if you're thinking of learning, start. Just pick one thing. Don't give yourself a lot of pressure that you need to like have all of the final idea ready before you even begin, because what's going to happen is you're going to play about on the app, whatever app you're going to use, and be like, oh, I can do this, oh, I can do that, well, that's cool, you know. So yeah, just have some time to experiment and play about with it. And if you create something that you want to share, then you can just order the copies for yourself. And then if you feel like, you know what, I want to design notebook covers, you can just do that. You know, I think a lot of people, a lot of things that put people off is that they feel like, oh, well, I'm not going to make money with it. You're not going to make money straight away. No one knows who you are. No one knows your stuff. They don't know your brand. But if you start and, you know, you keep plodding along, even if you don't sell anything, you can learn a lot. Seriously, you can learn so much. Like, in the process of doing this whole thing, I've learned so much. You know, like from product design, like thinking like how to do like a 128-page product, right? Kind of like organizing all of that, and then proofreading, and then editing, and just refining things. And then that kind of time frame, learning how to work with that. Logistics, really interesting. And then listing, like how you list things on Amazon and all those little details, and you know, it's just getting how to get super organized to do that efficiently. I'm not there yet, but you know, I'm learning. And the other thing was building my own websites, and just learning about SEO, doing marketing. I set up my social media accounts. You're probably watching this on YouTube maybe. And just taking like every opportunity to learn, to pick up a new skill. I mean, it's just really exciting. Like, I didn't know anything about branding. No, I just make a journal. I just made a journal. And then the more I was thinking about it, I was like, well, if I have a journal and it's a system that I've created, I really should put a brand behind it, you know. So then I looked into branding, and, you know, between like ChatGPT, Google, and YouTube videos, and there's so many tutorials. Oh God, I love YouTube, man. Yeah, you just learn so much. I'm like, wow, I didn't know this. I didn't even think about this before, right? Even something as simple as having like your color palette for your brand, so that you have like those. What numbers is it? The numbers of the colors, like I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, to have that so it's like consistent throughout. They're just these little details, and also like how they use words, and wow, so yeah, I'm learning a lot. And yeah, so I feel like don't focus too much on this being a successful business, because that's, you know, like the end goal, right? It's like, oh well, if I'm not going to make £1 million, I ain't going to do it. That's weird. So yeah, it's like, well, when you're doing this thing and you're starting out, you're going to learn a lot. And then as well, document what you learn, and then create a report like as you go. Because seriously, man, I was doing so much, and then you kind of get to a point where you feel like, oh, I'm not getting any progress, you know, I haven't even sold anything there. Oh man, it's taken so long. But then once I sat back and reflected on what I'd done, and then I put together this report, and I looked at my timeline, and I looked at all the different skills. Wow, that's impressive. You know, it's really impressive. So yeah, it's not always about sales. It's not always about, okay, the obvious thing. It's really not. It's really not. There's a lot of learning opportunities and growth opportunities, which I'm a big believer in. So yeah, if you're thinking of doing it, just start, you know. Like I started mine just on paper. I actually, this, again, from maybe you educators out there might understand, but I actually had to fold I had to get loads of A4 paper, fold it so that I could see what people would like. I had to like draw out on pencil on paper what my journal was going to look like before I could even put it into Illustrator, because I needed to see like how it would feel for what my user's going to be experiencing, right? So just find whatever way works for you, you know, and then just small steps, and then each step there's going to be stuff that you can't do, but it's okay, because nowadays, dude, you could just ask ChatGPT everything, or Google, or even better, YouTube videos. I really love YouTube videos for tutorials. You can learn so many things, very specific things, you know, like so many things on Illustrator that I did not know how to do. I was like, oh, how do I do cutouts? Then, you know, you type that into like YouTube and like, wow, tutorial video. So yeah, so anyone thinking of doing print on demand books, and you know, you feel like it's a lot, you don't know where to begin, just take a pencil and paper and make a mock-up of your book first, and then, you know, you then move it into Canva or something, and then yeah, just play about. Really, there's no pressure. I think we give ourselves a lot of pressure, but we don't need to, you know. You can just learn on the way. Learn on the way is a lot of fun. It can be a lot of stress, but yeah, it's also a lot of fun as well. So I hope that was useful. Kind of rambling on a bit now, so Happy New Year, guys!